Hello, hello, hello. My name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute RV Convos. Follow along with me as I hit the road to have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Amazing audience, you're hearing it live here. We are live with Inez Bracy. We're not going to go too much into the fancy introductions that are usually occurring. We're just jumping into our conversation and we're allowing you to see that because...
I don't deserve a fancy.
Oh no, I'll definitely give you fancy. But in fact, she's all fancy by herself, so she'll do well. Alright, so this is Inez Bracy. We had a conversation almost 2 years ago in 2016. And now it's a grand opportunity, one I'm grateful for, to spend the night at her home and have a conversation with her on a beautiful morning like this. So Inez, please tell us a bit about yourself.
That is awesome. I was born by the river in a little tent. No, not really. I am the sixth of 7 children. And we had only one boy. He's the 5th child. So it was really interesting how we bonded. And then the baby, so there's 3 of us. We were the 3 musketeers. And going through public schools and all of that, I found myself really always being in a helping profession. And so I created, when I decided to quit my last job, I created my own company. And that is a speaking, coaching, and training company. And I love it.
What's the name of the company?
The name of the company is Inez Bracy International because we are a global company. I have clients in several countries, so I enjoy that.
Where is the best place for someone to go to find out more about your company if they so wanted to connect after hearing this conversation?
InezBracy.com. That's INEZB as in Bravo, RACY.com. InezBracy.com.
InezBracy.com. Wonderful. What we've been focusing on is your own unique real shoes, which is part of your own unique real self, right? And a whole host of things. But your shoes, the walk you've walked. Some people will have the opportunity to look at your shoes and say, "Ooh, I wish I could have a pair of shoes like that."
I should have put on shoes.
However, in terms of figuratively speaking, tell us about the struggles, the challenges that led up to this, the things you did that you wouldn't want to do, but needed to do to get to where you are today, so that people can understand what it took to be here.
Now, that is a very good question because I don't usually do things that I don't want to do. So everything that I have done, I wanted to do it. It didn't always work out the way I wanted it to work out. However, I took it as a lesson. I don't look at it as a failure because people talk about failure. No, it was an opportunity to try something, to tweak something, and to change it around to get to the outcome that I desire. And that's how I work with my clients. Because when you start looking at failure, many times it's, I failed and I'm quitting. So rather than failing and quitting, you keep going and going because all you're doing is building on the last step. It's almost like building a stairway. So you're always building on the last step to get to the outcome that you desire. One of the things that I did early on when I started my business was to hire a coach. And that saved me because having always been an employee, even though I had my own hobby businesses on the side, but being an employee, you go to work and you do whatever your hours are and you go home. But being in business for myself, I found that the buck stopped here. And what was I going to do? How was I going to generate income? How was I going to generate clients? All of that. So I hired a coach early on to get going.
Yeah, it's important, right? 2 things. So I like to say success is built on the foundation of failures, interestingly enough, right? I've learned that. And secondly, the coach aspect. I think working like you've done and doing side business creates a cheat. Where you cheat, right? Like, you need to make income, but I have this income coming in, so I can cheat. And getting a coach definitely helps you to do that. I'm interested, your coaching clients, right? How happy are they when they coach with you?
They are exquisitely, ecstatically blissful. You won't hear me use the word happy because happiness is usually event, situational, circumstantial driven. Even the forefathers, when they wrote up our Declaration of Independence, they said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which ensures that it's always beyond you and you're always out there looking outside of yourself for it. So when I work with my clients, I show them how to generate bliss every morning from within. So they start blissing and they love it because it's a generation, energetic generation from within.
Yeah, well, that's intriguing.
Of course it is.
Expand on that, please, the energetic generation from within.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking me to do that. There are 3 of the highest vibrations: bliss, love, and gratitude. So when you decide every day that no matter what goes on in my world, I am going to be blissful, that keeps your vibration high. So when a problem comes up, you find solutions and they come like popcorn. When you are down here vibrating because you're seeking happiness outside of yourself, you just stir the problem. It's very difficult because the mind that creates the problem really doesn't have the solution for it. But up here, when you have the mind creating the problem, solutions come because the vibration is so high and it's bringing in everything else for you to be able to get the solution that you desire. You don't just get one solution. You have several from which to choose. And I love that.
It's like picking fruit.
Exactly, yes. Oh, that's a great idea. Look.
Love it. Again, amazing audience. You're hearing it live from Inez Bracy. As you can see, she didn't need an amazing introduction. She does it all by herself. Very fascinating woman. I'm very, very fascinated by her. The first time we spoke, you said the word blissful, and you said bliss. But for me, for some reason, when I heard the word bliss, it always sounded like something like Ori, right? Like bliss, right?
That's exactly bliss.
And then you explained it, and that was beautiful. Tell us, Inez, how do you feel, in fact, being who you are today, in terms of the things you've done, the things you've seen, getting the opportunity to look back at the canvas? What would you say? How do you feel about what you've created so far?
I am eternally grateful. And I'm grateful for all of the circumstances, situations, opportunities that brought me to where I am now. Because without those, I wouldn't be where I am in the way that I am. Do you see? And having them feeds me to continue to share what I know, to share what I can do, and to really support others in getting the aha moment, to look back on your life and just see how it's brought you here.
That's amazing, Inez. Now, one of the things I'd like to wrap up with is I believe it's so important to have great conversations, and more so the conversation with yourself. What is your take on that?
I 100,000% agree, because the conversation that we have with ourselves is the conversation that drives us. And even though we don't always realize what we're saying, because we get more than 60,000 thoughts a day, and because every thought that's been in the universe is still out there, so sometimes you're sitting and something comes and go, where did that thought come from? It came because you had that blank space there for something to come in. So what I ask you to do is to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. When something doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, do you beat yourself up and call yourself names? Do you talk to yourself in a way that you would never speak to somebody else? Because sometimes we are our own worst enemy when it comes to lifting ourselves.
Yes.
So self-talk to me helps us to really understand who we be, and I intentionally say be, not are, because are all the roles that we play. Being is our authentic self. And so when we start talking to ourselves in a loving way, uplifting way, then we be the person we were put on this earth to be. Because we came equipped with everything that we need. Yes. It's just a matter of tapping into it.
Love it. Well, amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live here from Inez Bracy. I said that 3 times in this session because we're with Inez Bracy. Inez, before we glow, is there anything else you'd like to share? Is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yes, Angel, I would. May I offer a gift to the audience?
Please do.
Okay, my gift, we just got through talking about the things to say to yourself. So I have a gift that I'd like to offer. It's called Self-Talk. It's an MP3 download on my site. And if you go to inezbracy.com/self-talk, inezbracy.com/self-talk, you can go ahead and get the MP3. What I like about this MP3 is short enough to get you thinking and help you remind yourself of who you be. And in reminding yourself of who you be, it encourages you to speak lovingly to yourself.
Love it. And it is a great pleasure to have you on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Cut.